Hey Comp2, sorry for the delay on the video this week. I've encountered a few technical difficulties and a few just logistical things, so I apologize for that. Hopefully you weren't too lost without me. That's kind of funny, right? Okay, so we had the one school I teach for had Monday off, and I'm feeling like it's a Monday all over again today. And I was looking for funny quotes for another course I teach, and it said something like, having Monday off is a good excuse to have a bad day Tuesday. I am choosing to not have a bad day today, but I tell you what, it does feel like a Monday today. Some of you maybe can relate. If you work for a government office, you had yesterday off too, perhaps. Okay, I'm looking at the work that we are turning in for this week, and this is obviously our week to start reading in light of where we're going. So I want to tell you where we're going with the illustration essay. If you were worried when you saw that word illustration that you were going to have to get out your drawing skills, worry no more, okay? This is, and I know you probably know, an essay that shows illustration is one that explains something out with word pictures. And a lot of you have already done this, and so this essay may not feel a lot different than any others in terms of the way it actually writes itself, because you already have made examples and drawn comparisons and conclusions based on your own personal experiences. Some of you have felt like you have to hold back on those things. This is your open invitation to launch into those things, as long as, of course, you're keeping the focus of your thesis in mind. So what you're doing this week is just doing the reading background for the illustration essay. As you read, I want you to think of two things. One, what are the authors of these essays doing that demonstrates illustrative material that is effective to you? And maybe borrow some of their ideas in terms of how they play out their illustrations and how you could play out your own original illustrations. You can use their illustrations as support, but I also want to challenge you to create your own. The second thing you're doing is you're collecting information to create your own original argument. You may echo an argument found in one of these writings. And by the way, the authors are Lakoff, Tan, Hentoff, Brunvand, Tannen, and Sinha. And those are the 5 essays you're going to be reading and responding to this week. So as you read, you're looking for examples of illustration done with professional writing, but you're also looking for an argument. Here's where the tricky part comes in this week. This is going to be our first paper that I'm going to ask you to synthesize. Synthesize means taking 2 different items and weaving them together to create a succinct, focused argument. So what you're looking for as you read is ways that some of these articles could pair together to help you put forth an argument. You might borrow an argument that's echoed in one of the articles. You might refute it. You might copy it more or less. But what you're also going to do then is have a conversation that brings in a second article. Some connections are obvious. Some are, there's 2 authors that talk, or 2 or 3, maybe even 4, that talk about communication, different kinds of speaking and interaction, that you could probably weave some other ideas together. You may have one source that sticks out as primary source and another as a secondary in terms of importance or how much you use them. That's okay. They don't have to be equally weighted. If an article does not agree with you, that's a great way to synthesize. Think of it as a compare-contrast. Maybe that's a more familiar paper term that you've heard before, one that you did in Comp 1. But the argument you're making needs to be set forth in a way that draws 2 sources in together in conversation. You will use language like, while Tan says this, Tannen adds, okay, something like that. What I don't want is summary of one article, summary of another article. I'd like to see you kind of weave the 2 together in conversation. Again, all of this is just to set the stage for what you're going to be writing the following week. But this week, as you read, you may want to make notes of little connections and overlaps you see that help you to convey the argument that you wish to convey. And if you have questions on that, definitely email me. Some of you have asked, how can I raise my grade? That's a really good question. First of all, please know that the amount of informal activities we do, we usually do about 3 each unit, really can help to work your grade. The second thing is, obviously, look back at the comments in the papers. 2 big things I'm looking for in this next paper is a strong thesis statement followed by strong topic sentences. And I encourage you to start each paragraph with a topic sentence rather than illustrative material. Yes, we want illustrative material, but it's best to put out your topic and then bring in the illustration. So the quote should come after the topic sentence, for example, or the story or the anecdote or the explanation should come after the topic sentence, just to have a really clear focused vision. I also recommend that going before you write each topic sentence, that you go back to your thesis statement to make sure that you're staying on topic. You have a great rest of the week, and if you have any questions, I know I've kind of jumped ahead to talking about writing. This week you're just reading and posting to discussion board, but I wanted you to make sure that you knew where we were headed so that you could make this week purposeful in time management and so forth. Have a really great week. Questions, fire them away. Talk to you later.